Yeah, so I know there has been a movement to make Whyte Avenue and to make a lot of these touristy areas very walkable, and I 100% agree with that. At the same time, you have to look at the entire structure of the city and in how one design will affect the rest of the city. So in this case here, if you're removing lanes from one part of the city, where are you putting alternatives in another section of the city? Because on the north side, the only east-west transport across the Gateway Corridor is Saskatchewan Drive and 63rd Avenue. That's 25 blocks, which is an entire quarter of a quadrant of the city. So there's no other way to cross Gateway Boulevard east and west without Whyte Avenue here. So when you're removing one lane, you're going to cause some issues because Saskatchewan Drive is a one-way flow as well. So people need to get to the university. And when you design something like this, I understand that they're designing it with transportation in mind, but it's not the correct transportation either. And the design of the way that they put it, so far from what I've looked at it, they put bus lanes in the middle, which is okay. I can agree with that. But at the same time, where are people getting on the bus? Are they going to be able to get on the bus from the middle of the lane, or are they crossing to get onto the middle of the bus, or is the bus going onto the traffic where there's no bus lane, blocking the entire lane of traffic from flowing, and then getting back into the bus lane? Like, I don't think whoever designed it really thought too much of it. And again, they're also removing a lot of the parking. They're removing an entire lane of parking and adding maybe a few blocks of parking in the middle of that, just so that we can get maybe a few parklets out. And Whyte Avenue, I think, thrives from the rest of the city coming in here, as well as the residents that live here. So when you're removing a viable transportation source in the city, you're going to get less business in this area.
But how significant is traffic infrastructure to these businesses here? How important is having this parking?
I wouldn't I wouldn't say that traffic infrastructure is as important as viable transport infrastructure. So when you're looking at transportation, you have to look at all modes of transportation. So you're looking at walking, you're looking at cycling, you're looking at mass transit. And you're looking at transit services like trams, which is the reason why Whyte Ave is as wide as it is today. There used to be a streetcar that ran through here, and Whyte Ave is completely developed this way. And when you look at the aerial view of downtown, you can completely tell when the streetcar ran through downtown Edmonton and right through Jasper Avenue, because all of the high rises are along Jasper Avenue. So if you want to bring Whyte Avenue and bring all of these different parts of the city, districts, and communities back to a thriving area, you have to put a tram back through this area. And there's two ways of doing it. Obviously we do have a historic streetcar that still runs today. All they need to do is put a track back on here, have a historic streetcar run through, and then during the peak periods, they could switch that over to, maybe a one-car version of the Valley Line light rail, right? And in the original plan of the Valley Line, I don't know what happened to it, but in the original plan of the Valley Line, there was supposed to be a Valley Line, and then connecting the two between Strathcona County to the university through Whyte Avenue was supposed to be the energy line. So there was supposed to be another modern streetcar running through here, but now the city has opted to put in a bus. And to be honest, nobody's going to take the bus. And you can see that in cities all around the world. You can see that in the Toronto design, with the subway there. But wherever the streetcar flows in Toronto, that's where all of the communities are thriving. So it makes no sense for a city to replace what we have now with something that I don't think is going to work in terms of both bus transportation and road transportation. So it might work for walking transportation, but again, if you're walking here, you have to live in this area.
Is it frustrating that the city is even entertaining this idea? Because it seems like there could be potentially a lot of issues that come up with it.
I think always talking about a topic is actually pretty healthy for a city to see where we're going, where we've been, and what kind of possibilities there are. So I do encourage entertaining this idea and talking about it. But we do need to look at how different things drive in other cities. So like two examples that I could bring out was has been built, I think, in the last 10 years. So I've been to Tampa recently, and Tampa has an area kind of like this called Ybor City, where it's a historic district, and they brought a streetcar through it, but not through the historic street. They put the streetcar one block away, and it's a free streetcar. People can take it from downtown into Ybor City, and then they come onto the strip, which is primarily just for pedestrians. There's like one lane of traffic for businesses, and it's thriving there. It's amazing. University students are going there. And then another city that I've been to recently, another North American city, because I like to bring North American examples so that we can compare apples to apples. Another good example is with Tucson. I just recently been to Tucson as well, and Tucson, their main strip downtown 10 years ago had only 2 businesses open. The rest of it was boarded up. They put an LRT through it, and now that street is bustling. There's clubs everywhere. University students are coming from where it's connected. It is free right now because of COVID, and they have to drop back the Bay Fare. But like that, it completely transformed the city to something different. So we have the opportunity here to transform Southside Edmonton into something amazing because I always go to other cities in Calgary where there is an LRT running on street, and it's incredible how that has transformed the city compared to Edmonton. You know, we built the LRT systems around the same time, and just simply the design of being underground versus above ground has made all the difference.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or anything I missed asking?
When they look at it, the entire plan, instead of just building a bus lane, they need to be able to connect the Metro line and the Valley line with the rail service, because they turned down that idea of building a gondola as well, which would have connected downtown and Old Strathcona in a very easy way for people to come here. And there's no easy way to come to this area of the city if you're taking public transport.
And just with the parking too, like there would also have to be some sort of answer to that. I mean, that could drive people away if they feel like they can't drive here.
Absolutely. And taking a look at the plan, like if they're gonna do a street renovation, what I also suggest is, I've been to places in Europe where they've done this successfully. What they do is they dig up the street, put a parking lot underneath or in the surrounding areas, and then put the street back on, so that you don't even see the parking. It's completely walkable. You see all the greenery, and you see a very well decorated area. And there's no traffic noise like that you would see anywhere else, right? Because everybody parked underneath. So, you know, that could be another solution to the whole parking issue that is in a drivable city that we have.